I was walking through the woods when I came upon a hawk sitting on a tree, and this hawk could talk. This hawk said to me that ever since man started carrying God around in his pocket, the earth began dying. I said, "What are you talking about? Man don't carry God around in his pocket." He says, "Oh yeah? Then what's this?" He reaches into my pocket, pulls out my money, says so right there, G-O-D. And ever since man started carrying God around in his pocket, he began slowly killing the earth. And if you don't do something to stop him, the earth, a living being, shall surely die. I said, "What do you want me to do about it? I'm just a man, a two-legged creature that walks on dirt, carries God around in his pocket." He says one man could change the world if only he'd be willing to try. But I did not believe him. I said, "One man can't change the world." He says, "What about your friend Jesus? He was only one man, and he changed the world, and all he had to do was throw the money on the ground and give it back to the earth it rightfully belongs to." I said, "Well, if that's all it takes, I'll see you around." And I threw my money on the ground and walked out of the woods, not as a man, but as a human being, a spiritual creature covered in skin that lives with the earth, not on her. And that's the story of when I met Little Hawk, a Native American that lived in the woods that taught me the difference between a man and a human being. One day I saw the Great Spirit digging a hole. He was going to plant a fig tree when a man that owes him money comes up and gives him the money that he owes him. The Great Spirit looks at the money and he throws it into the hole. And the man bows down. He says, "Don't put that there." And as he reaches out his hand to take the money, the Great Spirit slams the blade of the shovel into the dirt and pulls his hand back in fear. The Great Spirit says to him, he says, "If you try to take that from there, I will cut your hand off just as fast as I would cut the head of a snake off if it tried to enter my garden. And if you do not believe me, I suggest you go shake hands with Satan and you will realize he does not have any." Now I'm going to give you the secret to the parable. Look at this. You see this? This is Satan. He has no hands. He cannot do anything. He has no legs. He cannot go anywhere. He has no heart. He cannot love anything. Man has given him a face, but his eyes do not see. His throat cannot talk. Me, the Great Spirit, we do not think about him. We give him no mind. For if you think about money, you give it a mind. Yours. That is how the Illuminati control people's minds. They control the money. Every rule, every law on the books is a rule on how you can or cannot use money. Every court case boils down to who gets how much of whose money. You see this fig tree behind me? This fig tree will feed me for the rest of my life, and I do not have to think about money to know where I'm going to get figs. I've been telling my friends and family for years now that growing your own food is better than printing your own money, because people that do not have to think about money cannot be controlled. The mark of the beast is required to buy, sell, and trade. You buy, sell, and trade, or you are bought, sold, and traded. That is the devil's system. Jesus was sold for 30 pieces of silver because he refused to let Judas sell oil. When African villagers were found, they did not know how to count gold. Thus, man thought they were animals. It was not until they realized these people could learn how to count that they realized they made a mistake. When Native Americans refused to sell their land for gold, they were slaughtered like animals. That is the line in the sand. If a cow could get a job and pay taxes, it would not have to spend its life suffering on a dairy farm for the sole purpose of making a profit. It could sell its own milk and use the money to buy a pasture to retire on in style. But because a cow cannot count, it is considered property. A cow is not property. It is a living, breathing creature, and stealing its milk and slaughtering its babies is evil. See this coin? This coin has no marks on it. Marks that would identify it as belonging to any god, any religion, government, corporation, association, king, or kingdom. It is a rock, a mineral. It belongs to the river. As water flows over the rock, microscopic particles of the mineral break off so that when God's creatures drink from the water, they will have minerals and be healthy. Today, people have to buy silver off the internet. It comes in a powder they stir into their waters to fight off infection and disease. It is supposed to be there naturally. Stealing God's creation and trading it for the devil's money is evil. I had a dream recently where I saw a stairway to heaven. It went up into the clouds, and there was a long line of people waiting. Each one of them was wearing a white robe, waiting in line for their turn to talk to God. And I heard an angel speak. She said, "For everyone that dies, another will return. The ones that return will carry the cross known as the truth. The book of Revelation is open." Hint, the white robes were hospital gowns. The day is coming when the evil weed will be ripped out of the ground by its root and cast into the fire, and all of those too stupid to let go will burn with it. How did Satan tempt King David? To count the number of men of Israel, to take a census. What could be so wrong about that? His enemies were rising up against him. He wanted to know how many fighters he had. Why would thousands of people have to die? Go back to where God told Moses to count the number of men of Israel, and he said, make each man pay a ransom to the Lord for the sin of being counted. So there you have God in his own voice define sin as being counted by a governing body, even his own governing body. Fast forward to the birth of Jesus. Why were Mary and Joseph in Bethlehem? To be counted in the Roman Empire's first world census. Thus, Jesus being born without sin by God's definition would mean he was not counted in that census. Why not? Because Mary was pregnant. She was only counted once. That's why Herod killed all the newborn babies. None of them had been counted in the census. There's your entire abortion debate right there. But Jesus was not killed. He escaped to Egypt, and after Herod died, he returned to reveal what was hidden from the foundation of the world, the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But what does that mean, knowledge of good and evil? The book of John holds the key. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and God was the Word. What separates man from animal? We know how to talk, we know how to count. And I don't mean the spoken word, I'm talking about the written word, the word and the number. The word is good, the number is evil. Look at your library. Your entire library of knowledge is based on books that have words and numbers. The word is good, the number is evil. The Apostle Paul was wrong. Money is not the root of all evil. The number is. Money is the fruit of that root. Science is an evil religion where everything is quantized with a value that can be compared and contrasted. One study will say this is good for you. The next study will say it's not good for you. They cook the books, they cook the ledgers, they cook the science, they cook the studies. If they can give you a mathematical formula where the numbers add up, you will believe them even if it is not true. How did Satan tempt King David? To count, period. You can end the sentence right there. I'm going to teach you how to prove global warming. You'll be able to prove it to yourself, your friends, your family, your neighbors, your enemies. You won't need any science or studies or numbers or anything like that. All you have to do is take your shoes off, walk around on a hot summer day. You will realize you can stand on green grass for as long as you like. Not a problem. What you cannot do is stand on a black asphalt road. It's too hot. There are laws in cities that say you're not allowed to walk your dog during a heat advisory because the road can get so hot it will literally burn their paws and injure them. If you want to heat something up, paint it black. Put your food in a black box, the sun will cook it for you. Put your water in a black hose, the sun will turn it into hot water. The sun does not just heat up the road, it heats up everything under the road. All the dirt, the germs, the bacteria, the mycelium, the roots of the plants, literally turning the earth into a solar oven. The scientists deceive you. They hold up a thermometer and say, oh look, the temperature hasn't changed. No, 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 that's the air. The earth is under your feet. Take your shoes off and you can literally feel the earth getting warmer. It is not possible to look out over an area as large as a Walmart parking lot and tell me that painting something that big from green grass to black rock will not heat it up. Of course it's getting hotter. It defies all common sense logic and reasoning. Not only is the rock getting hotter in the summer, it gets colder in the winter. From one extreme to the next. Hotter summers, colder winters, climate change. They want you to believe it's easier to go to Walmart and buy food than it is to grow your own. Why should my food be grown in California, shipped across the country in a diesel-powered truck, rotting in plastic bags, cardboard boxes, all the energy and labor required to take the food from the farm to the truck to the warehouse, delivered to the store? Somebody has to be paid to throw it in the dumpster when it expires. I would have had to have a job first so I can buy the food, and I got to carry it home in those little plastic bags that hurt my fingers. And what universe is that easier than walking to my front door and picking a fig off the tree? It's not. They are lying to you. The farmer is lying to you, the grocer is lying to you, the school lied to you, your government is lying to you, the scientists are lying to you. They want you to believe the earth is a dead rock spinning around the sun. No, it's not. The earth is a living creature. The earth is alive. The creation has its own intelligence. They want you to believe it's always been this way. That's not true. 100 years ago, the automobile had barely been invented and there were virtually no roads painted black anywhere on this entire planet. 100 years ago, there was absolutely no plastic polluting our environment anywhere. Today, there are mountains of plastic larger than some countries floating around our oceans. 100 years ago, there was no man-made nuclear radiation anywhere. Today, the entire planet is contaminated with radiation from Fukushima, Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, and who knows how many secret tests the militaries have been conducted. 100 years ago, rainbow, the sun and the wind really did dry our clothes and without polluting our drinking water with coal ash. They want you to believe it's always been this way. No, it has never been this way. Thousands upon thousands of years of human history, the earth has never been this polluted before, ever. It was my friend Little Hawk that told me the Native American prophecy of the rainbow people that says in the last days when the earth is ravaged and dying, a new tribe of people shall rise up out of the ashes. Made up of all colors, classes, and creeds, they will make the earth green again and be called the warriors of the rainbow. When this land was given to me, it was just dirt. The only thing that grew here was sand and stickers. I planted the grass, I planted the fig tree, a peach tree, pear tree, apricot tree, olive tree, hazelnut tree, plum tree, lemon tree, orange tree, banana tree, avocado tree, mulberry tree. I am warrior of the rainbow. I took a barren desert wasteland and turned it into a tropical paradise, and I am not done. The day is coming where I'm going to turn that dead black road in front of my house back into living green grass that breathes. I'm going to go to Walmart, punch holes in the asphalt parking lot, plant fruit trees. I'm going to turn Walmart into a food forest where people go to find food, not buy food. I'm going to turn the city of North Myrtle Beach into the Garden of North Myrtle Beach, the city of Atlanta into the Garden of Atlanta, the city of New York into the Garden of New York, the Garden of Florida, the Garden of Los Angeles, the Garden of America, where you walk out your front door and find food growing in every direction, where it is not possible for any creature to go hungry because there is an abundance of food growing free everywhere. The first page of the Bible is about a garden. The last page of the Bible is about a garden. If that's not enough for you, Jesus did not go to the temple to pray. He went to the garden to pray. The way to a man's heart is through his stomach. The way to God's heart is through his garden. God did not build a grocery store. He created a garden. And the day is coming where we will replant that garden. This is Joe signing out from Base Camp Zero, Zero. It is a word, not a number.